What's up fam, it's Cam and welcome back to CFR. Whether you're curious what your favorite actor, your favorite musician, your favorite rapper, or your favorite person that actually is like running through a Fortnite game might be wearing, stay tuned. So one industry that's been hit very hard by COVID-19 is the entertainment industry. And those of you who have actually bought tickets for concerts for this summer know that they've either been postponed or canceled. So it's caused, people to really think outside the box as far as getting their music out. And there is a lot of different talk on different platforms of how to get some of these summer blockbuster movies out, because there's no way that, by the summer people will be able to pack the movie theaters or pack an amphitheater. So one way I thought about bringing you closer to some of those celebrities is to talk about their fragrance. First actor up is an actor that has been around quite some time, and he has quite a resume. He actually has a fragrance that is just, I don't know, I won't say it's outdated, but I thought maybe since he needs a little sprucing up, we would spruce up his actual fragrance. According to sources, Brad Pitt wears Armani Code. I thought about maybe giving him a more modern twist and give him Armani Code Absolute. I don't know if he's actually tried this, but I think it would be a great idea because I actually love that Code DNA. And it's actually in here, and this is a great modern twist to a beloved DNA. And I think Brad Pitt needs just a little sprucing up. I mean, he could probably just retire or whatever, but some of the roles he's taken have not been as stellar as they once were. But that still does not make him a bad actor, and it does not make Armani Code a bad fragrance. But I figured we'd give him Armani Code Absolute. Next person up is actually a rapper. If you've ever heard the song that starts off going, yeah, I'm talking about Roddy Ricch, and his fragrance is Creed Aventus. No surprise there that a famous person would like Creed Aventus. According to GQ magazine, Roddy has been wearing Creed Aventus for 2 years, and he actually put this in a list of 10 things they can't live without. So I've seen a lot of these lineups, and fragrances are in them sometimes. Creed Aventus was in his list. I've seen, jewelry, Gucci shirt, or, Jordans, whatever the case may be, but out of those 10 things that Roddy Ricch picked was Creed Aventus. It's no surprise that Creed would be, in the lineup of somebody famous and have a lot of money. Matter of fact, I've heard numerous rap songs where, whether it's Post Malone or whoever, they're always talking about fragrances. There's actually one song by Rick Ross that's talking about my fragrance costs more than your mortgage. So I'm not sure what Rick Ross is wearing, but I'm sure it's pretty freaking expensive. Creed Aventus is expensive, but I don't know how much your mortgage is, but yeah, great fragrance. Doesn't surprise me that it would be in a lineup, but as more of a contemporary person that's pretty popular right now, rocking the Creed Aventus. A lot of times you will see a famous person being the face for a brand or a particular fragrance, whether it's Johnny Depp for Savage or Matthew McConaughey for The One. A lot of times those faces for the brands don't necessarily or actually wear that fragrance. So the actor that I'm talking about next actually does rock the line that he represents, and he rocks more than one of them. I'm talking about Chris Hemsworth, or Thor, wearing Hugo Boss bottled Tonic or Boss bottled. He does wear both of these fragrances. I've seen documentation in different places where he has actually spoke on having a love affection with the Hugo Boss line. He also wears Hugo Boss suits, which are not cheap. So if you want to smell like Thor and not have to really spend a buttload of money, I don't know if you've ever checked on the price of a Hugo Boss suit, I would a whole lot rather spend the money on the fragrances of Chris Hemsworth versus his suit or his hammer. Next person up is from the United Kingdom. He was actually kicked off of the X Factor only to rise back up and be a part of the boy band One Direction. And I'm talking about Harry Styles wearing Tobacco Vanille. Now, when you look at Harry Styles, he's a young, good-looking dude, but he is a little bit mature acting for his age, and Tobacco Vanille is a very mature fragrance. I don't know if you've ever smelled this fragrance, but it is a beloved DNA for those who love it, and those who do not love it, not so much. Tobacco Vanille has obviously tobacco, vanilla, but it also has clove buds and other dark nuances that might be a little bit more daring for some people's taste. Next person up may not be the most famous person that you might know, but he has been on a couple of famous shows and movies. If you guys saw the remake movie of the Power Rangers, the Red Ranger was Dacre Montgomery, also known as Billy on Stranger Things. Now, Stranger Things is, if you've not seen that, I'm sure you've probably seen me wearing Stranger Things shirts a lot. It is based in the 80s. Of course, it's a modern movie, but everything to the most mundane details, whether it's their jeans, their cars, whatever the case may be, is what was really popular in the 80s. So Billy is like the big tough guy who actually has big walls built up around him because of his youth and bad things that happen to him. So he's just really like a mean person for the most part, but you will get to see a softer side of him if you watch all of season 3. So the fragrance that Dacre Montgomery wears is Black Orchid. Black Orchid was actually a fragrance that was more marketed for like a women's fragrance. I actually really enjoy wearing this fragrance myself. There are dark nuances about this fragrance that are mysterious. So if you look at especially the character of Billy on Stranger Things, he does have that dark aspect about him. So wearing something like Black Orchid would fit at least that personality. My mama told me life is like a batch of Aventus. You never know what you're gonna get. If you guys have never seen Forrest Gump, you'll know that Tom Hanks wears green Irish Tweed, not Aventus. As a matter of fact, there are a slew of people who wear Creed green Irish Tweed. Now, this fragrance has been around since 1985, so it would make sense that a lot of people love this. It does have a freshness about it. It is a very distinct fragrance. If you've never smelled green Irish Tweed, you really should get your nose on it, at least get like a decan of it. There is something about this fragrance that makes me feel very regal. I have a lifetime, like childhood best friend who lives in Franklin, Tennessee, who has actually got to meet Tom Hanks, and he recognized that Tom was wearing green Irish Tweed when he met him. Now, not only does Tom Hanks wear green Irish Tweed, Russell Crowe, George Clooney, and Diddy, among a lot of other people, wear green Irish Tweed. And like I said one time before, wearing green Irish Tweed is like walking down a red carpet. Now, I remember very distinctly after 9/11 how much it changed everything. So I feel that COVID-19 will affect us in similar ways that 9/11 did, at least us here in the United States. And those of you abroad who watched that unfold, whether you believe it was hijacked planes that hit those World Trade Center towers or some big government conspiracy, it did change our way of life here in the United States. But one person that stepped up and did a really funny stand-up comedy show was Jamie Foxx. If you get a chance, you should watch I Might Need Security. That's one of the funniest stand-up comedian acts I've ever seen, and Jamie Foxx rocks Silver Mountain Water. Jamie Foxx has a really diverse range. He can be funny, he can be serious. I think he's a really good actor. I think some of the roles he's played, one of them was actually kind of hinged off of a similar circumstance that was based off of some facts that were true, that were similar to what happened around 9/11, is The Kingdom, which is based off of a FBI agent that has to go to the Middle East where an American compound was shot up by terrorists in Saudi Arabia. But other than being a great actor, Jamie has great taste. He likes one of my favorite Creed fragrances, Silver Mountain Water. Silver Mountain Water is a very unique fragrance. It has a fresh aspect. It's not like anything else that you've ever smelled, unless it has tried to copy Silver Mountain Water. So with a unique personality comes a very mass appealing but unique fragrance in Silver Mountain Water. So one interview I saw in People magazine magazine was talking about Travis Scott. For those of you who don't know who Travis Scott is, do you have children that play Fortnite? You know, Fortnite has these big events. The most recent event was actually a wild concert with a huge giant Travis Scott. Travis Scott is also a very famous rapper, and his girlfriend is very famous. His girlfriend is Kylie Jenner. So in a People magazine article, there was an interview with Kylie Jenner that was asking what type of fragrance Travis Scott wears. Travis and Kylie have been together for quite some time, and she said that all she knows is that he always smells really fresh. He likes to take showers. He wears very clean smelling cologne, and he always smells like weed. So being that it did not specifically say what fresh and clean fragrance Travis Scott wears, I thought that Prada Luna Rossa Carbon would be ideal as maybe a fresh and clean fragrance for him. As for the weed, maybe Hindu Kush. You know, depending on if it is legal in your state or not, you might be better off spraying this on than the actual herbal essence. Next person up is actually an older actor, the Die Hard star Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is another actor that is very diversified in his acting. He can be funny, he can be a badass, but one of the fragrances that he wears is actually Dior Homme Intense. Now, as some of you may or may not know, Dior Homme Intense has that lipsticky vibe. So Bruce Willis does come off as kind of a rugged, manly man, so it does prove that a manly man can wear a lipsticky iris fragrance like Dior Homme Intense. Next person up is not only a rapper, he's an entrepreneur and has his finger in every single pie you can think of, whether it be a fashion brand, fragrance brand, and so on and so forth. I am talking about Jay-Z, and he wears Millesime Imperial from Creed. Jay-Z actually has somewhat of a connection to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville native J. Cole actually moved to New York when he was 18 years old to seek out Jay-Z to give him his rap tape. And Jay-Z shot him down the first time that he gave him the tape and ignored him. So J. Cole stayed after him. He was hell-bent on meeting Jay-Z. And once he finally was able to get his tape in Jay-Z's hand, Jay-Z, being the businessman that he is, signed J. Cole up under his label. Now, J. Cole did have to do a few albums for Jay-Z before he could go start his own label, the Dreamville label, which you see me wearing all the time. J. Cole is probably the most famous person that is from Fayetteville. As far as like in modern day being famous, we have had a lot of musicians that have been in big bands. Like a keyboard player from Fayetteville, North Carolina actually played for Elvis Presley. There's a lot of connections with a lot of musicians that are from this area that have branched off and made it big. As I said earlier, is DaBaby being from Charlotte, Michael Jordan being from Wilmington. There are a lot of famous people from North Carolina. So when Jay-Z came back with J. Cole to do his homecoming show, he brought Drake and Jay-Z with him. So Jay-Z was probably rocking Millesime Imperial, but Drake, on the other hand, was probably wearing Clive Christian. Now, I'm not sure which fragrance Drizzy Drake wears from Clive Christian. I have heard that it is #1, and I've also heard that it's Cosmo's Flower. So I'm not 100% sure, but he does rap about him coming in the room and all people can smell is Clive Christian cologne or perfume. I don't remember. It may have been fragrance in the air. But Drizzy Drake does rock him some Clive Christian. And if it is #1, I think that's like an $800 fragrance, which would make sense being that God's Plan, the video from Drake, actually was given like $1 million budget, which he actually handed out and handed to all those people in that music video. With him being very good friends with J. Cole and Jay-Z coming to Fayetteville to do that homecoming concert, it was pretty iconic to say the least. And a lot of people were on a very big high from that night because of Fayetteville being more of like a military town. Not a whole lot goes on here. So when something that big of that magnitude comes, it does make a very long lasting impression. HBO actually came out and recorded that whole thing as it went down. I'll put the link to that down in the description because that's something I'm proud of from my little small hometown. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's concept. I hope that things get to normal soon so you can get out and go to concerts or go to movies or whatever it is that you like to do during the summertime, even just going to like a water park. That would be dope, right? Anyway, you guys take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.